Cariker. I have a company called 7 Media Group. We work with power sports dealers throughout the country. We work with Tucker Power Sports to work with dealerships, and we're going to go into some of that today. We're going to go through some slides. If you were in here earlier, this is going to be redundant, so you're going to see some of the same stuff, but we have a few extra slides we'll throw in there. So hopefully I'm not too boring. If you have any questions, please stop me at any time. It's really a good opportunity for both myself to learn and for you to learn. So if there's anything you see that you want to know more about, let me know. After the presentation's over, if you'll give me your business card or your email address, I'll send you the slides so you can have some of this information. There's quite a bit of statistics in it. I'm not a big PowerPoint guy and slideshow person, but I feel it's important. Some of these things are underemphasized maybe, and so it's important that you see really how powerful mobile is and mobile marketing and some of the things that your dealership can take advantage of. So I'm going to take a guess that everybody in here has a mobile phone of some kind. Like everybody on the planet has a mobile phone basically. So I had to keep this slide in there to make sure everybody knows that I have a child and they have a mobile phone. So I have a 15-year-old daughter. So a few things that we'll touch on real briefly. It's a lot of traditional advertising that you're doing, and I even call digital advertising traditional at this point because we've all been doing email marketing for many, many years. But email, as it's still viable as a business functionality, it's not as effective as a marketing tool. You do have a list of customers, but they're not necessarily all bought in and all active. They're not all going to be able to receive your messages in a timely fashion and respond to them. So email is really kind of lagging behind as it relates to what customers expect today, because everything's so immediate and so instant, and they can go find the information within seconds. Getting an email slows them down, for lack of a better way to explain it. Social media, we're talking about open rates, 14% open rates on average across the retail industry. The power sports industry, I know, gets a higher redemption rate or open rate, but you're still not going to get the saturation or the actual response that you might want to get. So you kind of weigh out the benefits to the aspects of cost and things like that. Social media has peaked, so that might come as a shock to a lot of people. That doesn't necessarily mean people are leaving social media, but the growth that it's experienced over the last decade has become somewhat stagnant, partly because the generations are coming forward. The younger people are using different platforms to communicate on. How many in here have ever heard of TikTok? You know what that? How many are using that for their dealership? Last year, there were more downloads on TikTok than Facebook and Facebook Messenger. So if you're going to go after where they're coming next or where they're going or who the audience is, you're going to be chasing a lot and for a long time. So ultimately, you're still invested in social media and it's important, but you have to understand that growth, that opportunity, and where it's at and who you're marketing to. And like I said, you can chase that next platform all day long. My daughter has TikTok. I don't understand it. I don't think I'm going to advertise on it. I don't really know that my audience is really going to be there. You guys may feel differently. That's great. But ultimately what I see is, and I said this earlier in an earlier session, I go to dealership websites every day and I see the social media icons that you put on your website. And I can almost guarantee you the majority of them, I click on 2 or 3 icons and I get to Twitter and they haven't updated their Twitter feed in 2 years. Oh, they got Instagram now. They got one picture and it was posted 6 months ago. Just because you have it doesn't mean it's doing anything for you. So you really have to, again, weigh the value of being on a social media platform and understanding if it's doing anything for your business. And a lot of dealers tell us, well, that's free. I could be on Facebook for free. Well, time is money. It takes time to manage and maintain these. So you're still investing something in those platforms. So keep that in mind. So from a mobile standpoint, it's a little different. And when I say mobile, I'm really specifically talking about SMS, text messaging. Text message marketing is incredibly powerful, and I'll show you some examples, and we're going to look at some things that our dealerships are doing right now. But 98% of text messages are read, which I think it's higher than that. I really think I can't imagine you ignoring a text message. I don't. But for the most part, you get a message, you read it. And in fact, you read it within 5 minutes. I mean, that's another huge, powerful example of immediacy a channel that you can control as a business to communicate with your customer that's as effective or more effective as picking up the phone. I mean, you're going to get to them in real time with real information, and they're going to read it and respond to it almost instantaneously. 96% of those that have a smartphone text message. So as much as we all are smarter with a smartphone, we still do the basic stuff, which is send text messages. That's really a lot of people's, they check email, they send text. Oh, well, now I can shoot videos and I can be on TikTok and I can do 1,000 other things, but when you really boil it down to what is your phone used for, you send text messages, and that's how you communicate with everyone. So this goes into a little bit more specific on the retail side of things and what mobile can do and some of the power it has. 32% of recipients responded SMS offer. This is across the retail channel as a whole. With texting coupons, redemption is 10 times more often than what you would get with a traditional printed coupon or a direct mail or something like that. So not only are you reaching the audience in real time, they're responding, but they're responding in much, much larger numbers than what you're going to get using any other kind of medium. 54% of consumers receive at least one SMS message per day. That's from a brand, that's from a business. On average, you would receive a message per day across a number of different brands, a number of different companies and businesses that you interact with. This could be with brands like a team. It could be luxury brands, it could be about your car, it could be from your doctor. You're getting communicated with on a daily basis because it's a utility and a function of your life. And 50% of consumers who receive branded messages go on to make a purchase. So again, if you send a message to 5,000 people and 2,500 people made a purchase, that's pretty powerful. I mean, you're really getting into the real value and the aggressiveness of what mobile can do in the SMS is that you're getting to customers and they're making decisions based on that communication. This is a really, really important one. So this is part of the business, part of your industry is that follow-up. What do I do after someone made a purchase or if they're a prospect? Texting a prospect after the initial contact increased the conversion rate by 112%. That's unbelievable. If someone showed interest in something and you followed up with them with any kind of information that was relevant to what they were looking to purchase, they're going to come back and buy. I mean, that's just, it's almost automatic. You're listening to what the customer says, and then you're messaging them information that's relevant to that particular need they have, and they reward you for it. So this is something that I think is still incredibly lost a lot, is that I talk to so many dealers day in and day out. You have an incredible amount of data and incredibly valuable data. And what I mean by that is your customer information that you've collected over the years with their purchase history, their service history, the things that they've done with you as a customer sits somewhere in a database. Most likely, it's digital in some format, in some way or other. A lot of you would have Lightspeed as an example of a system, a DMS, where you house this data, this sales information. How much have they purchased? When did they purchase last? Those kind of things that you hold on to, how are you using that today? You're not email marketing anything specific, I'm guessing, based on that information. You're not probably calling customers based on that information. But what if I told you you could use that information and dice it up in real time and message customers about specific things about what they ride, what they own, when was the last time they came into parts or service or apparel? If you can have that at your fingertips and push a couple of buttons and communicate with that customer exactly the information that's relevant to them and their situation, and you can do that in mass to hundreds or thousands of people, and every single message is different, but you didn't do any extra work, that's pretty powerful. And again, the value of that data can be used in so many ways. It's pretty amazing. Like I said, I talk to dealers every day and they say, well, we've got data, but it's old, or yeah, we don't do a very good job of collecting this or that or whatever. Still, you have information. You still have information that's very useful that you can leverage and use down the road. Target customers based on demographic information as well as purchase data for things like recall, service, parts. We did a promotion, or not a promotion, but we have a client out in California that we work with. They had a recall. Polaris had a personal watercraft. They had a recall. I don't know the specifics about it. But the recall work itself was worth $640 per unit to the dealership to do the service work. That's what they were going to get, which is, a nice chunk of money. What we were able to do was take that data of all the customers in their database that had that exact personal watercraft unit, send them a text that says schedule an appointment for this recall, et cetera, et cetera. Very simple, very clear. They had like 10 appointments in one day. Immediately responded to that text alert. At $640 a pop, 10 of those, I'm not a dealership owner, but I think that's pretty good. And that's using something that you already had. They didn't know they had it, but when they found out there's a recall, immediately, hey, can we use this? So again, there's an unlimited number of ways to find useful, that data to be useful in all kinds of marketing that you do. Capture additional data. So this is another aspect. We say a lot of times when a customer comes in to make a purchase, most of the time if they're a male or female. You don't want to assume, but you usually don't ask them if they're male or female when they make a purchase, right? But that's important in your industry because there are things customized to a male to a female customer. Apparel is one, helmets, there's different things that a female customer might be more likely to purchase or would be designed for them, or a rider's class, things like that. What texting and SMS can do for you is allow you to ask that customer for information. They can respond back and give you that data, and then you put that in your database. So now you send a message out that says, enter to win a $50 gift card, reply with your gender, male or female. You'll get 90% plus response. They'll reply back in, really easy, and it goes into the database. Now, you can go in and dice up your data and say, I want to know all the women that own a personal watercraft. I want to know all the women that own a personal watercraft that hasn't been in service in more than 6 months. You can start doing this, like I said, with the click of a couple of buttons, and you have this profile built, this persona of a customer that's an actual customer that you can then market to. Date of birth's an easy one. Join our birthday club. Get a message on your birthday that gives you a free gift or a discount or something to that effect. Now you've got their age. Now you can dice up your data based on their age. So we all know a 25-year-old customer is way different than a 55-year-old customer. So when you're sending out messages about an event that you might have, it may not be relevant to the 55-year-old customer at all. Then don't send them that message. You do that with email today or through your social media channels. You publish and promote and blast out everything you have, but how many people is that lost on? It's just not relevant to them. If you can target somebody based on their age, their gender, some of these really specific things, then you're speaking one-to-one. You've really taken out all the guesswork of, I hope they respond to this message. No, I know this customer fits this profile and they're going to respond to this particular offer I have. While 80% of brands believe they provide a superior customer experience, customers say only 8% actually do. So this is important when it comes to your reputation, to your loyalty, to your operations, so to speak. If you're not communicating with customers in the way they want to be communicated with, if I tell you I want you to send me text alerts and you call me, bad, don't do that. I don't want to get emails, don't do that. There's certain things about your behavior and your marketing patterns and what you do with your customers that are important. But ultimately, if you think you're offering everything to everybody and you're trying to do it in mass, your customers don't see it that way. They expect personalization. They don't care about the 1,000 other customers you have, they care about themselves. And they want to be marketed to because they're getting sophisticated and smart enough to know that you can, that you have the ability to market to them. And if you don't do it, they think you're lazy. It's a double-edged sword, you want to be in front of everyone and take care of everyone, but if you don't do it the right way, they're going to look at you and go, well, you lost a sale. That's not what I want. That's not what I asked for. So there's a lot of things about it that you really have to listen to customers, and if they're only looking at 8%, they think that actually do a good job, there's a lot of room for improvement. Positive digital experience and response can mean up to 40% of your customers will spend more money. That goes great with this next slide. 86% said they're willing to pay more money with a better experience. So think about yourself. I used the example earlier. You can go to Walmart and buy a $200 TV, and you're going to talk to, the 20-year-old that's just there, killing time, and he doesn't want to work. He doesn't know anything about that TV. Well, then you can go to Best Buy and spend $400 and get the same TV, but get someone that knows what they're talking about. That tells you how to hook it up. You'll pay more money for something that is valuable to you. If it's worth it to you, you'll pay more. That's again where communication comes in. Communication is value. Content is value. When you share that with your customers and you give them a reason to come in and to frequent your business, they're going to spend more money. It's just a byproduct of your success. So there's a few examples here we're going to run through, and I'm going to turn it over to JJ with Tucker. He's going to talk about some of the real specific examples of things we've done up to this point with Tucker specifically and some dealers, but these are just some examples of things that you could do when you have a customer list or you have a database of customers that say they've opted in and they want to get messages from you. You've got permission to do it. You offer them accessories, parts related specifically to the unit they purchase and their riding style. So again, you're not going to sell certain kind of hand grips to a guy that owns an ATV or something. There's just certain ways that you can use, again, that data and offer customers additional services or parts or accessories that fit the actual piece of equipment they own or that they use. It's not hard to do that. And again, you've cut out so much of the guesswork. You've taken away so much of the stumbling blocks when you've eliminated all of those things that, well, they might like this, they might like that. Well, I know they own this. I know this is how old they are. This is the last time they were in the store. They're going to want these new grips. They're going to want these kind of tires. There's some really easy things that you can come through with and share with your customers. The landing page aspect of it. So, that's another thing about just kind of basic marketing 101. No matter how you market to customers, you want to have a call to action. You don't want to just leave them hanging and guessing. So when you ask them for their phone number and you send them a message and it's about a specific product or service or something, tell them what to do next. Call us, schedule an appointment, click this link and find out more. I mean, here's a video, here's the products on a page with pictures and descriptions, and call us to see if it's in inventory. You have to hold their hand. But I'll promise you, if you will give them that roadmap, they'll follow it all the way through. I mean, that's just really the habit of a person on their phone. You kind of mindlessly do stuff anyway when you're on it. You're just clicking around. But if you get a roadmap and you go, okay, I'm interested in this. I click here, I watch a video. Oh, I click here, now I can see that you have it in stock. I click here, now I can, it's just a very simple process, but you have to have those pieces laid out ahead of time. You can't go, oops, sorry, I texted you this, and then a week later go, oh, by the way, here's what that product looks like. It's really got to be thought through. Your existing data, as I mentioned before, when you send out alerts, your offers and things of things that their unit that they purchase, it can be just general maintenance and recalls, things like I mentioned with the personal watercraft. You can have generic messages like your events and things like that, but again, you need to have some call to action or some purpose for messaging them. Your OEM co-op, I talk about this a lot because I know you know what co-op is. A lot of you that have OEMs that that encourage co-op and they think it's valuable, they want to get behind it. There are a handful of OEMs that we've done things with. Yamaha was the first one that we started work. We were the first mobile company to work with Yamaha to co-op mobile, specifically text messaging. So Yamaha will pay 50% of any text messaging campaigns that you do. So those are the kind of things that, your traditional media, they co-op, but some of these OEMs are getting to the point where they understand the value. Hey, this guy's got 1,500 customers in his database. I want him to text out specifically something about the Yamaha demo event. Yamaha's all in about helping pay for that, and then again, there's other OEMs that do that, but if you don't ask, you don't know. I mean, it's just something about it. As cost is a factor, let somebody else help pay the freight on it. Personalization, this is something, again, too, that's kind of oversimplified, but it's incredibly powerful. If you have the ability or you use a specific vendor to do your messaging with and the platform that you use, they should have the capability of dynamically inserting the customer's name, maybe what kind of unit they purchased, if you're specifically talking to them about an ATV, a motorcycle, whatever it is. So you dynamically do this with the platform, and when you send a message out to your customer list, every single message is different because I've identified the customer by name. Dave, are you still happy with your 2017 Honda blah, 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 right? That's different than every other message. But on your end, you did it one time, clicked one button, and it all created itself and it all communicated itself using technology. I mean, I'm oversimplifying it a little bit, but honestly, that's how technology works, and that's how your data works for you, is you create that personalized experience for a customer that they look at it, and I promise you, they see their name in a message, they're like, oh shit, they really care. Like they feel like they're messaging with someone they know, like one-to-one. Lastly, your SMS channel alert customers when their unit's ready. This is something basic. You know, if you use Lightspeed, you have this built in. If you tell them to activate it, there's an SMS component that they can activate for your service department to let customers know when their equipment's ready to pick up. It's a two-way messaging platform. It will not mass text. You can't send a message to thousands of people, but it's important when you can do those one-off messages. If you can send a message, you have your service writer that's working with the customer's equipment, and then they want to message them when it's ready. You know, you don't need to send that to 20 people because you don't have 20 bikes ready. You got one customer with one bike, you got his phone number, you send him a message, your bike's ready. That's incredibly powerful because the customer service aspect to it tells me, the customer, you value my time. You're gonna let me know when I can pick up my bike, and you don't have to call me and leave a voicemail. And another byproduct of that is we've seen with dealers that we've worked with, how many times you call a customer, they don't answer the phone, right? You're working on a bike, you got it torn down, you see something else wrong, you go call the customer to tell them, oh, hey, by the way, we got to do this. They don't answer the phone. They don't check their messages for hours. What are you doing with that bike sitting there that whole time? You're not making any money at all. You send them a text, they reply right back. And you can interact with them through a messaging platform, one-to-one. Okay, go ahead and do the work. How much is it going to cost? Okay, it's going to cost $85. Okay, I give you authorization to do the work. It takes place in 5 minutes or less. It's immediate. So those kinds of tools implemented, even in just that one aspect of your dealership, custom parts orders, hey, your parts are in. Little things like that. Customers value their time, and when you show them that you value their time, they reward you for that. I'm going to turn it over to JJ. JJ's going to talk a little bit about some of the things that Tucker has done with 7 Media Group and what we've done with some dealers.
Marketing manager for Tucker Power Sports. Ron's the wizard behind 7 Media. I'm just here to kind of show you guys some examples of what I've done and what Tucker Power Sports has done with dealerships so you can envision what you can do with your own stores. So we'll start off with some of the kind of the basic text messaging that you're going to see there on the far left. So you'll see an initial opt-in text to give the consent to sign up. You'll see I clicked Y, super basic, like Ron talked about. I joined their mobile marketing. So from there, we end up creating, you'll see the link there, thanks for joining our VIP club. What this does, this link, is it opens up into a coupon. So when it's like a, hey, thank you for joining, here's $20 off your next $100 purchase. The good thing with that is you can set the expiration date out as far as you want. Maybe it's you need to come in this week, maybe it's the next 30 days, maybe it's the rest of the year. Whatever you guys want to do to fine tune it to your stores, you can do that. A couple more examples, just the SMS again, just the basic text messaging. Free pair of Pro Taper grips with purchase of Pro Taper handlebars. If you guys have any off-road products in your store, you've seen these before, this is what we call a dealer door swing. So this is a promotion that Tucker puts together to where you qualify, you guys buy 5 pairs of handlebars, you get 5 pairs of grips for free. You extend that to your dealers, and you can do it on social media, text message, however you want to choose it. But in this case, obviously, we're doing it via text message. Those grips didn't cost you any money. You just extended that promotion over your dealers. Jump over here and a couple more options. Again, some basic text. What we did here was Zools because at this time, it was a newer company for us. A lot of people weren't familiar with Zools. So we chose, we're just going to plug in their actual website so a customer can go there and they can look through it. Good thing with Zulz is they don't sell direct, so that kind of helps. You don't want to obviously push people to a company that will sell direct. You want to keep them within your platform, but there's so much information on their website that it made sense just to push it over to them so you could actually see everything rather than Ron and I getting together and making a customized landing page. It was going to take a lot of time when they already had a professional website done. From there, we'll jump over into the MMS. So you'll see we started incorporating pictures in these. Obviously, when you get a text, most of you probably have a smartphone rather than just a basic Nokia that you played Snake on when you were younger. This is a lot more appealing when you can see the imagery, right? It grabs your attention. And like Ron said earlier, when you fine tune that and you filter it out, rather than just sending this to all of your customers, Rip, I see you back there. I know you have a V-Twin store. This doesn't do you a whole lot of good. Maybe it will, but this is an off-road customer. So if you don't have any off-road customers, you're probably not going to want to send this to them because they're going to get annoyed. Go ahead to the next one. Jump over, here's another dealership. Grand opening. They were driving a grand opening. This was for a remodel, new location. Got exposure for them. Hey, new location, come out, check out what we're doing this weekend. Jump into another MMS. Again, this is these images that you're seeing, and you'll see their logo, you'll see a ride, that sort of thing. That's where I come into play and where Tucker comes into play, where we can help you guys put some imagery together. You may not have a marketing department. You may not have somebody that has the resources to put those together for you. We're here to help with that. So these take a couple minutes tops on my end to put it together, and then I'll connect with Ron and we'll finalize everything. Last part I'm going to touch on here, you'll see another MMS. Again, we put all these images together. This one's the best one I think that you could really offer your customer. Send out, you have the promo here by the light bar, get a free mounting system with it. It's a great promo. Click on this link for more info. This is a customized landing page that Ron's team is able to put together to roll out from that link. I help put the information together, the imagery together, that sort of thing. My work's very simple. I enter the copy, the imagery. His team does the rest. It's very turnkey. The reason I'm up here is just to let you guys know, hey, if you don't have the time, reach out to me. I have business cards as well. Reach out to Tucker. We're here to help you. If you don't have the time, let us help you get this up and rolling. Ron's team is very easy to work with. Anytime I call him, he picks up his phone. When I email him, I can email him last minute. Hey man, I forgot about this promotion. We want to roll this out tomorrow. Is there any way to put this up? 30 minutes later, hey man, it's scheduled for 10 a.m. You're good to go. They're awesome. They're amazing. I definitely highly recommend you guys go by their booth, chat with them a little bit. We partner with 7 Media for a reason. We really think they're the best text messaging for power sports, period. They're really great to work with, great customer service. So spend some time with him one-on-one if you can. See how he can help. Come find me. I'll be here all week. Like I said, if you want a business card, has my cell phone, my email. I've met a few of you in here before. I know a lot of you are from out of town. But talk to me. Let's figure out how I can help you, how Tucker can help you guys push this text messaging to get out to your customers.
All those examples that JJ's talking about, if you know that there's a call to action. Come in tomorrow, get this offer, good for these 2 days, click this link, here's a picture of the brand new store, you gotta know what it looked like. Well, there's what it looks like. There's something in all of those elements that have some appeal, the customer is looking for that, they wanna know more information. One of the things to point out at the very beginning of this, when he showed the example of the invitation, right? So everybody has a database of phone numbers and information that you have currently. You have the ability to import those into a mobile system and send those customers an invitation that says, would you like to join our mobile club? And in this case, very smartly so, offer some incentive for doing it. Spend $100, get a $20 gift card, or whatever the offer might be. So what you're doing is you're leveraging your existing customer base to be more useful for you, but you're also giving them an incentive or an extra perk for being one of your customers. So you legally have the right to do that. The customers are not forced onto any list as far as any opt-in where they can't opt out. So it's all above board. You're doing it because you have a relationship with that customer. And it's up to them whether they want to take advantage of the offer or not. One of the other things that JJ was talking about when I mentioned before about landing pages, things like this. So with what we're able to do today, we can create a custom landing page like this. So JJ and Tucker comes to us and says, Ron, we want to do a promotion, for Quad Boss or XK Glow, whoever it is. We have these 50 dealers that carry that. Okay, they tell us that. We can replicate that 50 times, and your website and your branding and everything is all done on the fly. It's custom. So when I tell you it's turnkey, or when JJ says it's turnkey, it's not like bait and switch that says it's turnkey up until this point. No, it's basically your relationship with Tucker, and why they approached us to work together is there's a solution that fits your industry. And I've been in this business for over 10 years working with power sports dealers and other categories, but primarily power sport. I know the challenges that you have when it comes to staffing and time and resources, and we have streamlined so many things to help you. And vendors that you work with, whether it's 7 Media Group or not, if you do it the right way, you have the right partner to work with, it's successful. It's just really, I can't overstate it, that there's value in it if you take advantage of the opportunity that you have. So lastly, I'll wrap up with this just real quickly. I think, again, this is something that is not emphasized enough. I've actually had the chance to talk to a few dealers, and to their credit, they take it seriously. Their reviews and their reputation and loyalty from their customers, it's all happening online. They may come in your store and they may tell you to their face they love you, but when they go home, if something's wrong with their bike or something's wrong with their helmet, they're going to go online and they're going to give you a review and tell you to stick it. It's just human nature for people to kind of be that way sometimes. But what you can do is help mitigate a lot of that by responding and reacting and being proactive about how you talk to your customers. So when they purchase something, let them know, please give us a review. How did we do today? Let us know how we did. Rate us on Facebook, Google, wherever it might be. 80% of people trust online reviews written by other consumers as much as they trust recommendations from personal contacts. Word of mouth is the be all end all, and that's true, but you should look at an online review as word of mouth, because how many of us are looking to purchase something, take a vacation, go to a restaurant, and you look at reviews? And that really tells you, do I want to go to place A or place B? Do I want to buy this or buy that? It's not the only thing that goes into your decision, but it's an incredibly powerful factor that if someone had a bad experience and the owner responded and took care of the problem, then that's a good experience in my mind. As a consumer, I look at that and go, they care. They actually went on there and responded to a review and took care of that customer and kept that customer. So that tells me if I become a customer, I can expect that same kind of attention to detail. Testimonial is not a review, and I'll say that again. A testimonial is not a review, right? Some web companies out there today have solutions that can just build into your website the ability for you to collect testimonials from a customer. So while I'm searching on my phone looking for you, if I find my way to your website, if I find on your website where you have testimonials, I might see what your customers think about you. But if you get reviews on Google and Facebook and Yelp, I'm gonna find them. Because when I search Google, there you are, and there's your reviews. That makes a huge difference in your search response. Google takes into account the 3 major factors that they build in, the first 3 things for your search optimization. One of them is your reviews. How many you have, the quality of them, the rating you get. That's incredibly important when you're side by side with another competitor and all of your testimonials are on your website and all of his 5-star reviews are on Google. What are you going to read as a consumer, right? So don't get confused. A testimonial is not a review. You have to have some kind of mechanism or software solution that allows you to manage your reviews and your online reputation, because it's really what your business is driven by these days. It's online. And respond to all reviews. I already said this, good or bad. I say this, the review system that's in place for Google and Facebook and everybody else, they don't gatekeep. If you get a 2-star review, it's going online, but it's incumbent on you as the dealer to go back and say, well, this is why they gave us what did we do wrong, et cetera, et cetera. The testimonial systems that are in place, if you get a 2-star review, you as the owner or the manager can blow that out and just ignore it. Okay, that's your choice to do that as a business owner, but I don't recommend it because I think that's, it's just not, I don't think it's right? If you ask for my opinion, I give it to you, and you ignore me, well, you're never going to get me back, right? So it's a real fine line for some, but again, take your reputation seriously, your online reputation, and what you can do to improve it, enhance it, and grow. It's really going to make a difference long term. That's it. I think we're good. Yeah. So, any questions? Yes.
Can you tell us what the cost of this SMS?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Can you tell us what is the SMS software?
To get it set up? Yeah, so most software companies like ours is web-based. So you have essentially an online dashboard that you can log into. You have access to be able to upload your data, manage your data. We have relationships with Lightspeed and companies like Lightspeed where we can sync data up in real time. They use APIs, if that's a term you're familiar with. There are ways to do it in real time, but then there's also the manual process. So we can export your data out and import it into a mobile system. Really, a good mobile system is going to be very user-friendly. Essentially, once you get your data in there, to start off with your existing customer base, inviting them to join, giving them an incentive, that's one aspect. But then you can also do outbound marketing if you're doing Google Ads, if you're doing Facebook or anything else, or even traditional in-store advertising or events. You can get a keyword and a short code. Those are like the 5-digit number you probably heard on the radio or seen at a concert, text in this to this. The mobile platform that you choose should have that. So they'll give you a keyword. It might be your dealership name. You can choose what the keyword's probably going to be. So then you can just verbally tell customers, hey, join our mobile club, text in, do this and this. There's components where you can have a website form on your website. They can fill out information and put their phone number in. That would send them a text in real time that says, did you join our mobile club? Opt in, reply yes. So there's a lot of different mechanisms to not just get you off the ground, but to take advantage of your existing data, add to that data, get new customers. We had a Harley dealership in Oklahoma that sponsored an MMA fight, like a mixed martial arts at a casino. And what they did was they had tablets. There's a component that our system has where you can it's a touch screen, you just put in your phone number, and it's connected to the internet, so when a person put their phone number in, they would immediately get a text alert, and it was to enter to win a leather jacket at the dealership, right? So I think in one night, they got like 250 people signed up, entered to win this jacket. What the marketing person was able to do was go back to the store and take that list of customers and match that up against their existing customer base and see which customers were new phone numbers. So then he can go back to his manager and say, these are what we consider new prospects, new acquisitions, because they weren't previously in our system anywhere. So you're starting to measure your success rate by using mobile. We've done a number of things, traditional media, if you do radio or any other kind of promotion like that. We've had a lot of dealers that have my background's in traditional media, print, TV, radio, all digital stuff, but back in the old days, when the internet was starting out. I know I don't look that old, but I've been around a little while. We've taught dealers now how to leverage relationships with existing media outlets. So for example, radio still has power. If you do radio and you want to do a country station and a classic rock station, you use one keyword on the country station, you use a different keyword on the rock station, and you have the same kind of call to action. Maybe it's an event or text in to win something. In real time, you can log into your mobile account and see which one of those keywords is getting responses. Then you go back to the radio rep and say, I don't want to buy country anymore because we didn't get any responses. And they say, sure you did. And you say, no, we didn't, because I'm seeing it right here. I mean, that's putting it in your hands to control that conversation and out of the hands of your media partners, that's pretty powerful. And there's a lot of things like that a texting platform can help you do.
If I could spin off that real quick, there's a couple ways that I don't know if you guys all sell units in here or not. If you do, a great opportunity is to incorporate into your contract somewhere that you're entering a mobile club. Then you automatically enter them in that day, the next day, whatever it may be, because whether they're buying a new unit, a used unit, anything like that, one, you're able to filter them out with what unit they're getting, but the first time you meet that customer, you're getting them to sign up, and you're not chasing them later on. Maybe it's 2 months down the road, anything like that. They'd probably rather get a text from you, like Ron touched on earlier, right off the bat, hey, how's your experience buying your motorcycle with us? And then go from there. And then customize that to where, hey, if they bought a Kawasaki, you're selling them Kawasaki, or sending them Kawasaki promotional text. Or if it's a street rider, you send them street text, that sort of thing. Secondly, if you're trying to track how well you're doing with the text messages, if they're coming through it's hard to kind of gauge that, right? Like, hey, we're sending out these texts. How effective are they? Do you know there's a few different ways. If you have Lightspeed, if you have Lightspeed Evo, you're able to go in there. If it's a certain part number, you can run that part number and line it up with the invoice, right? If you don't have that, you could always put in the notes, hey, August text campaign, whatever it may be, so you can run a report later on. And the level of success is definitely dependent on you guys, what you think is success. First time I ever set this up with a dealer, I went in there the next month and asked him, hey, how'd that promotion go? He goes, man, not good at all. And I said, why? He goes, we only sold 2 of them. I said, okay, but those are 2 customers that came in 100% because of that. They showed you this text. Combined, they spent $400. Maybe that's not a huge amount, but it paid for the text just from those 2 customers, and that was the very first text you ever sent out. So to me, it made sense. It was successful. It's $400. It adds up. And as you build those, if you're doing them weekly, it could be once a month, it could be weekly, it could be twice a week, however many times you guys want to do it. He has different levels that he can explain one-on-one and the pricing and whatnot. But to me, if you can get a customer in there, whether they buy something or not, they're in there, that's another opportunity. That's all that matters to me. That's a success.
So I learned this term years ago. They call it door swings. You know, Harley dealers, they call it that. Some others call it door swings. I just want people in the door. You know, there's a lot of things that we can do to get them in the door. Now, once they're in there, that's all bets are off. That's all on you. That's all on your staff, your management, how you do that. Texting gets people in the door. They just maybe they only spent $400. Well, maybe they weren't going to spend anything. So that $400, that's on the positive already. One of the great points JJ made was the trackability and knowing is it successful or not. There's a component that we have in our platform that is what we call a coupon redemption piece. It's very robust. It has a lot of pieces built into it. But the simple part of it is, customer can click on that link. They get this really nice graphic page with this information on it. When they bring it in the store, they show it to your salesperson. The salesperson touches their phone and clicks redeem. That expires that coupon out of the database and shows which customer redeemed that offer, right down to their phone number. So if you say, well, we don't know how many people bought it, well, I can tell you exactly how many. If they came in and you did your job right and you redeemed it like it's intended to, we can tell you how many people took advantage of that offer. So there's still mechanisms that can be built into it that, like JJ said, turnkey. There is really no reason for anybody in here to be an expert on mobile. I'm not an expert on power sports, and I never will be. But I'm good at marketing, you know, so I don't ask you to learn mobile stuff. You need a vendor that can really help work with what you do and understand your business and build things in for you that has the most success for it.
Hello? To spin off that too, Ron, will you jump to the next slide there? He's talking about redeeming that coupon. Same thing with this landing page. This link is great for multiple reasons. It opens up into this. By the way, this is like, when you scroll through this, is about 10 more of these. It's a long landing page. It gives you all the information you need. Plenty of images on the unit, off the unit, how it lights up the field, everything like that. But when they click on this link, he's able to track how many clicks are just on that link. Not a redemption, but just the clicks. And so if you send out 500, let's say you have a group of 500, and you check and, okay, 100 people open this link. They're not just reading the text, they're following through because they have interest and they want to learn more about it. And again, to me, that's another success. Maybe they don't buy it then, but they obviously want to know about this later.
More questions? No? like I said, if you guys have anything after this, you want to see slides, you want a business card, feel free. I've said this many times. I don't come here to pitch and try to sell. I want people to be educated. If you want me to sell to you, come out to our booth. But I really want dealers to learn how to do better at mobile, because the better you do makes my job that much easier. Because then I got another dealership that comes to me and says, I want to do what they're doing. You know, I know you don't work with them, but they're doing a really good job, and I want to do that. And so I say, okay. So really, I want you to learn. And if you have any questions, regardless of whether you used our services or have any intent to, I'm more than happy to email, text, whatever you want. So hopefully you learned a little bit.